Ladies and gentlemen, I am here in and I'm sorry, my face is always a hot mess. I don't know, I'm going through like hormonal stuff with menopause or something. I don't know. Anyways, so I came out today because the place where sometimes we go, the pantry to get food, they offered us to come out to the show for kids, and we're still kind of like there. It's like this is like the location, and this is actually the area where I first arrived when I first got to Og, right? So, number one, remember the video that I told you? Remember the video that I told you? Just in case, because this has a lot of little layers. Again, always keep your receipts, always keep everything, right? So when I gave, like, they were saying, like, you just give €2 or something like this, and then they will, you can come to the show with your kid or whatever, and it's like basically free. It costs €10. It costs like, I think €5 for kids, 15 for adults, right? I didn't really know the price, but I made sure, because when I went the day after I paid the €2, the second time when I went, I think it was another lady who sold it. When I went the second time and I asked the lady, I'm like, hey, where are the tickets, or do you give something to us? She was like, no, when you get there, I'm gonna give it to you. So I was like, all right, fine. So you know how I know these little Sims. I know this way this thing works. So I said, let me make sure I bring my money with me. Okay, make sure you have your money and all your stuff. Don't trust none of these folks. Okay. Mind you, it's a joke, right? There's a joke that I usually have that, that one of my daughter's relatives have, right? Like when you go to the airport, like, and you get all your papers and you have everything ready, especially like if you, if you have to take your kids out of the country, you have to have all these papers, right? And then when you get to the airport and you're going through, sometimes they don't even ask you for it. Same kind of idea. Because you have your money, nothing necessarily went down, but the shenanigans were wild. Let me tell you first what happened, because I asked myself, why invite me or whatever if you're going to be doing shenanigans, right? So from the time we left the house coming out here, I took an extra bus, because this is how I live. I make sure I don't take the bus right before, because they do shenanigans and they slow down and all this BS. So I make sure I left my house from 1:30 for a show that started at 3:30, right? And it's only like a 30-minute ride. But because the nonsense, okay? So then, number one, when I get on the bus, I don't like the bus driver, because this chick used to be doing shenanigans like from before, so I recognize her. I remember she was once the same bus driver that when we were going to the beach, I think we were going to the beach, and like she passed the stop where we had to go and she took us to another section, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to this beach. I'm going to the beach that I want to go to. So I recognized her right away. So she's whatever on the bus. Number one, didn't hear a thing of simming, but I knew they were simming from the time we were like walking to the bus stop, because I'm telling you, I can see the Sims. They loiter. What does loitering look like? That looks like when you're walking, mind you, I don't do a New York walk out here, but I do my normal walk. And then loitering would be that, like, they seem like they're walking, but they're kind of walking slow. But then all of a sudden, when they kind of catch on that you're next, and then they start catching up to your speed, that's called loitering. They're loitering to wait for you to catch up to them. So even from like when we were like by our house still, like I said, like they were trying to loiter, and then they were like crowding themselves up these kind of stairs that you have to go up to like where the bus is, and they were just like talking, but I couldn't hear them because I had this on. Then when we're at the bus stop, I don't know what the folks were talking about, because again I had this on, but I can, even with my loud music, kind of hear like people simming behind me. So I know when they're loud, they're freaking just trying to get attention. So I purposely don't look at them. They get on the bus. Just so happens the same folks get off at the stop where I get off, and I did not get off at the stop where this location is. I got off like maybe like a stop or two before, just because I wasn't sure where the bus was going to leave us. So I got off at the stop where we were used to getting off. They get off there too. All right. So we get here. It's early, right? So I'm just listening to my music. So I take my daughter to go to the supermarket, whatever, because she's saying she's hungry. And then we're just waiting in front of the place. I'm gonna do a little, again, this is the building. Okay, this is the Palais de Congrès, and there's my daughter. Anyways, so she's like, oh, I see the Ferris wheel from here, and I'm gonna do a little bit of walking now. We're gonna do a little bit of walking so you can see. So she's like, take your stuff, sweetheart, because we're gonna do a little tour. So she's like, I see the Ferris wheel. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see, if you look, let me say, if you can see wheel in the back. And that's usually where the fair is. That's where, when we first arrived here, me and my older daughter, we caught a lady following us. And then she was like on the phone with Satan. She was following us and we caught her and she stood in front of the Ferris wheel. And I told me and the little one here and my daughter, I was like, just stop there and let's watch where she's going, because it was like she was following us. And then when she saw that we were looking at her, then she like freaked out. Anyways, so we walked this whole thing down there to the Ferris wheel just to see if they had any like, you know, like games or rides or whatever. So then, you know, and then, you know, we were already sitting here. We were sitting here in this spot, okay? We were sitting here in this chair. This is the building behind me, and you see that there's like a space over there with another chair. So in the time that we walked down to the Ferris wheel, we went to go get some soda. By the time we came back here, because we saw that there was nothing there, like by the time we came back here, there was a freaking police car like over there. I swear to you, there was a police car waiting for a kids show. This is because this is the real world, motherfucker. So there was a police car sitting there, right? So I was like, you know what? Nuck if you buck. I went to sit right over there where the car was. And I'm like, because these MFers want to be in the show so bad. They want to be in my little Truman show so bad. So I went and I sat like right there, because there would be no reason why not to. I'm just here with my kid. It's the real world. You know, it's not a simulation like Jesus said. So I just went and go sat down right in front of them. So when we're going in, mind you, this is a kids show for little kids, okay? Puss in Boots. It was Puss in Boots. There's like a police officer all of a sudden standing there. All these kind of things as if like they didn't want me to go to the show. Fast forward, so here comes the lady who's supposed to give the tickets, right? So she's supposed to give the tickets. So she's acting kind of weird, like she wasn't expecting me to bypass the police officer. Like I guess they just thought I was like, they just don't get it. That's why it's gonna collapse, because they just don't get it. So anyways, so she's like in there, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, we're just waiting, because she's the one who's supposed to give us the tickets, right? So I'm there waiting. She's acting all nervousy in Simlandia, and then I see some more Sims, and then they're all kind of like acting strange, like excuse me 1 second, like they're all acting strange, like they thought, like I don't know what they thought. They obviously have not understood or know who I am. So they were just acting like weird, right? To the point where she knows that I'm waiting and I'm standing there, and I was one of the first ones to get there for her to give me the ticket. She's at the counter. She's acting like mad nervous. Like she needs, again, notice the Sims they have handlers, so they need to be told what's the next step. They gotta call Satan something. They gotta be told what's the next step. So then, when some other people who look more like in charge, other women came, and then she's like, and then she goes like further away from me, like all the way, and then there were like more, I guess, people who she had to give tickets to, and then they're all there with her, right? And I'm like thinking like, that's pretty strange, because you would think like, you know, I just got here first and you see me here, so you're gonna go all the way down there with other parents. It was just really weird. So then finally I walked over, and then she's like, oh, family, Donald's family, and then she just scratches it off. Mind you, I paid €2 for this show or whatever to go with just me and my daughter. So I don't know why, but then she said something like, oh, we're giving you back the €2. So supposedly all of a sudden they were giving everybody the €2. It didn't matter if they were going to try to do any shenanigans, because I was walking with my €20. So either way, I even went and I asked the lady at the counter, I'm like, how much are the tickets? Because she was already getting on my nerves. I'm like, number one, we came this far, we waited this long, and if I already told my daughter I was coming to the show, it wasn't going to be in their freaking hands. I came with my money, and I'm telling you, walk with your stuff. If you don't get things in writing, and that's why I did it, because one thing is like if they had given me the tickets in advance, so I already say like, well, I have the ticket, I have a paper, that's this and that. But anything that's like hearsay, like you don't have a receipt for, don't trust these MFers. I don't care what organization they work for or anything, because they're parasitics, all infiltrated in everything. And on top of that, some weirdness about some police car showing up in the real world. And because we're in the real world, I walked right past him because I don't know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? It's just pretty strange out here. So anyways, so I asked the lady at the counter just in case, because I was already getting upset waiting. I was like, how much is it? She told me it's like €20. I was like, okay. So they knew I was going to go in either way with my tablet, which I have on me right now. So I could just imagine they were all there just rewinding, because you know how that works out here. rewinding. So, yeah. That's how my day went so far. So that was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, you know, y'all can believe it or not about the police officer, but everything, it even, sweetie, who showed up? Who showed up after we came back?
The lady, I think.
Who showed up outside in the car?
I think the police officer.
Did you see the car?
Yeah.
And how many police officers were there?
Only one.
One was inside? And one was in the car. One stayed in the vehicle, which is weird, right? Because you would think if you are supposedly coming to, like, for some reason, both of them would get out or something like this. One came out and he stood at the entrance where they check people's bags, just standing like weird, suspicious, because they weren't there before. Because remember, we got there early. We got there like at 2. We were there already from like 2:30 and there was nobody there. And then in the time that we went and we came back, all of a sudden there was a car. And what are you going to check, like, little parents? This is not a hot neighborhood. This is not a hot ville. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So what is that? What is that? This is the real world. Another part I forgot to mention was, like, on the journey for the bus, also, remember the bus driver who I didn't like, this chick? So she also, they do this sometimes. Now, you know what happens in the supermarket? Like, it's a very, very strange thing. I don't even know what that means. I don't even care, honestly. But, like, sometimes when I'm in the supermarket, every time I get on a line, I don't know, does it depend if it's, like, a sim on the line? I don't know. But they do this weird thing that, like, right after me, like, I'll be, like, if there's no one else behind me, they try to, like, turn off the line or something. So I always think that's, like, interesting. But, like, I really don't care because as long as they're not stopping me from like purchasing, but they always do this like weird thing, right? Like as if the line now is out of service after I've gone through it. They have to like I don't know, they gotta do something in the matrix, who knows? So the bus driver is something similar. So she's on the line. When we get to like halfway in the journey, all of a sudden she has to switch with the other bus driver all of a sudden. Now, granted, they do this, but I feel like that was suspect. I feel like they were like ranting and doing stuff, and then like since nobody was paying attention to them because I had the music on, it's like they try to like switch characters. So the same thing with the police officer. Granted, he went inside to stand with the men who were checking bags, which doesn't make sense because they were already security guards. So why would you need a police officer to stand there when you're checking, right? But I feel like maybe they try to make him go in and do that to make it seem plausible as to why the cop car was there, because otherwise when they got there, they were just sitting in the car the whole time outside, right? So it was only like, because they saw that I didn't have a reaction. On the contrary, I went and I sat right in the seat that's right in front of it. It was as if like they didn't know what to do. So it's as if like I think like they called him in to like stand there and pretend he's of service, because you know these MFers have to be pretending like they actually are of service or you need them in this matrix. But it doesn't make sense because all of the people who are inside checking bags are like they're like 5 security guards. So again, didn't make sense. So I'm just saying these are kind of like covering up whatever glitch that the matrix got on me as an anomaly in the system. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was funny. I just wanted to mention that the whole switch ups that they keep doing, switching up.